Hey everybody, hi. Hey, when I was in college, a fellow student gave me the best advice that I could possibly get. And that was instead of taking constant notes and worrying about getting everything written down, just sit back and listen. Listen and get all the concepts and then take some notes so that you can remember those concepts. And that's what we're talking about today. Stop taking notes because taking notes can sabotage your learning. All right, so let's get started. All right, so what I wanted to go through today was to tell you about taking notes and what I've experienced with too much note taking. I honestly think that sometimes we take too many notes, right? Because here's one of the problems. One is we might take tons and tons of notes, but then we never do anything with them, right? We just write them down and then they go off onto a piece of paper. We never see them again. Or we might be taking notes so much so that we actually stop listening because we're so focused on finishing the note of the previous thing that the speaker said. And that can be a real problem. I think that's one of the biggest problems actually, is when you're not actually listening to the full concept, you're just trying to write every little thing down. It can actually sabotage your learning because you're not hearing the whole entire concept. You're just trying to get those little details. And sometimes the details are much easier to remember when you understand the full concept. Do you see what I'm saying? And so a perfect example of this is when I learn, and maybe not everybody is like this, but when I learn, I like to understand the why, right? When I understand why, then I can remember all the little details. But if I don't understand that why in the background, then it makes it harder for me to remember the details. And so I have a funny story to tell you. So when I was in programming, I was working on a report for one of the people in our fiscal department, and she had this report and she kept telling us that something was wrong with the report. It wasn't reporting the correct numbers. And one of the fields, she said, this number should always be a 0. And I said, okay, so what is the calculation behind that? What's making it be a 0? I don't know, but it should always be a 0, she said. And so I told her, well, I can hard code a 0 in there for you if you'd like. And of course, that wasn't the right answer. But you see what I'm saying? It's like she didn't even understand why that thing needed to be a 0. She was just shown how to do something, and she just step by step did that thing without understanding the concept behind it. So then when it was time to fix that report, because she felt something was wrong with it, she had no idea about the accounting practices that should be going on so that she could actually make that report balance out and that number to be 0 actually legitimately, not just because somebody hard coded a 0 on it. So you see what I'm saying is that concept, and having the concept and understanding the concept before you dig into the details is really important. And so when you take notes, you tend to focus in on those little details, trying to get everything down and not really thinking through the entire concept of what you're being taught. The other thing is just simply you can't multitask, right? I mean, when you multitask or when you try to, your attention goes from one thing to another, to another, to another. So when you're taking notes, your attention now is on getting those notes written down, and you actually stop listening, or worse, you don't even get good notes taken because you're listening, you're trying to listen and take notes at the same time, and it's distracting you and causing you to take either lousy notes or stop listening. Also, if you're having to take word for word notes, I strongly suggest that you stop taking notes altogether, because the point is that you want to get that entire concept so that you understand the concept behind everything. And this is really one of the signature pieces of my take charge of your learning, right? Is that we want to learn strategically, and we don't want to we don't want to focus so much on the details that we lose that concept. And if you've ever taken courses on the same subject matter, you'll often find that the concepts are all the same, and they might be doing things a little bit differently when it gets down to the details, right? So when you learn those concepts, then it's easier for you to start looking at the details, maybe looking at how something is done rather than, what is supposed to be done. And then you can start looking at all the different approaches of how something should be done so that you can make a really good judgment call on what is going to be the best decision for you and your business, right? Because you don't want to just, go blindly into something. And if you don't understand the concept at all and you jump right into the doing, that's when we tend to get stuck, right? We get stuck on something, we start trying to implement and we get stuck. And the reason why a lot of times is because we don't understand the concept. And once you understand that concept, then it's easier to go back to like a recording and kind of buzz through it to get the details of what you actually needed to get out of it to implement the thing, right? So think about your learning process as several different things. First, you want to learn those concepts, and then you want to begin to start applying what you've learned, and then use that learning and use all your resources to help you actually implement that thing, because learning is useless if you can't implement, right? And so getting that concept down is going to help you in the long run, even if you have to watch that video twice, right? You watch it for concept and understanding what the approach is, what the methodology is, what the strategy is, and then you could go back through and take, notes or stop the video to help you implement each and every time. So I hope that helps you. So stop taking all those notes. They aren't always going to be helpful. One is it's really hard to get back to those notes a lot of times if you don't have a really fantastic filing system already in place. Secondly, you tend to get distracted while you're taking those notes. You're not listening to the next concept that might be coming out, and you actually miss things. And then thirdly, if you're having to take those word for word notes, it could just simply be that you need to sit back and listen to the strategy and the methodology first and absorb that. And one last little, I guess advice, my 2 cents is sometimes we get caught in learning, right? We get so stuck in learning that we can't actually implement and we can't get going. We constantly have that doubt of ourselves that we don't know enough to get going. And I'm telling you right now, you probably know enough to get going. You probably not know enough to get started. And by taking charge of your learning, you can actually learn strategically and learn in more like layers, right? So you learn what you need to get the thing done now. And then the next layer through, you learn a little bit more so you can expand or add features or make it more robust or, improve on it in some way. But when you try to learn everything up front, that's when you start sabotaging yourself, because there is just too much to learn. You have a lifetime of learning in your business. As the CEO of your business, you're going to be learning all the time. So commit to it. Commit to continuously improving yourself and your business through learning, but don't get stuck there, because when you're stuck there, it holds you back from meeting your potential. All right, you guys. Okay, I hope that helps, and I will see you in the comments. And one last thing, don't forget to get registered for my new masterclass. It's on the 31st of August. And it is at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And it is called Reclaim Your Life with Essential Systems for Your Coaching Business. It's not just for coaches, but online business owners can really benefit from putting systems in place that are going to not only do work for you, which means you don't have to hire somebody or you don't have to spend your time on it, but they can also create consistency and efficiency for you that will make your life easier and put you in the driver's seat of your business. All right, so get enrolled at thescrumshop.com/essential systems, /essential-systems. Okay, I'll put it in the comments. All right, bye.